Good afternoon, good morning. Hi, from the historic kitchen at Thomas Jefferson's Poplar Forest. The two women today, as you may guess, were enslaved here at Poplar Forest. There was Cate and her daughter Hannah, and they were brought here in the 1790s to work the Bear Creek section of Poplar Forest. Now, Cate was inherited by Jefferson from his father. So Cate had originally lived at Shadwell, Jefferson's boyhood home. Jefferson moved her to Monticello, where she had two daughters by an unknown father. So she had Hannah and she had Maria by an unknown father. And while Cate was living at Monticello, she met James Hubbard, and they married. Even though slave marriages were not really acknowledged in those days, they did marry, and look at this very robust family that they had. So Hannah brought her two girls to the marriage, and James brought three children to the marriage, thought to have been children of his sisters, and he became a foster parent when the sister died. So all of them were brought here to Poplar Forest in the 1790s. Hannah at first was working the fields here, and we have no idea how she was selected to become Jefferson's cook, but she was his cook, and she cooked for him all of his retirement years. Now, her meals were described by Jefferson as simple plantation fare, and he would invite people over for plantation fare, so he must not have been embarrassed by her meals. She must have done very well. But that was not her only job once she became cook, because Jefferson's not here all the time, so when he's not here, it was Hannah's job to either work in the fields, and then eventually she was in charge of the spinning house, the weaving house that was here. So the historic kitchen that was here, she was already cooking for Jefferson when he had this kitchen built, and it's built on some of the French principles that he brought back, the ideas he brought back from France. The French stew stoves that are like little hibachis with the grates sitting down inside the cheeks. So really good for sauces, and very, very slow cooking. But Hannah was not really trained in French cooking, so I can imagine her watching this kitchen going up and coming in here and wondering what these stew stoves are going to be. And when she sees them and they look like nothing she's probably ever seen before, I can imagine her standing here going, what am I supposed to do with those? Then over here, another French influence is a really large set kettle, keeps a ready supply of water, and it's heated from below, whereas the stew stoves, the grates hold the charcoal and then the embers come down below. Now we do know that Jefferson's garden here was, sometimes it didn't do really well. He did have a gardener, but didn't always do very well. So he's purchasing food, vegetables, and also chickens and turkeys from Cate. And this is written down in Jefferson's memorandum book, that he paid Cate so much for her turkeys and for her vegetables. Now Hannah was very religious. She was also literate. She could read and she could write. And she wrote Jefferson a letter, November of 1818, one visit. He was not able to be here. And she wrote to him, Master, I write you a few lines to let you know that your house and furniture are all safe, as I expect you would be glad to know. I heard that you did not expect to come up this fall. I was sorry to hear that you was so unwell. that you could not come. It grieved me many times, but I hope as you have been so blessed in this that you considered it was God that done it and no other one. We all ought to be thankful for what he has done for us. We ought to serve and obey his commandments, that you may set to win the prize and after glory run. Master, I doubt my ignorant letter will be much encouragement to you. As you know, I am a poor, ignorant creature. This leaves us all well. Adieu. I am your humble servant, Hannah. So we do know that she had religion and that she's sharing a little bit of that with Jefferson as well. So it's the 1st of May and it's a bit warm in here. So you can see the fire going in the kitchen. So I can just imagine how Hannah worked in here from sun up to sundown and even beyond in the hot summertime. Well, Hannah had children of her own. Hannah, when she first came to Poplar Forest, she married Solomon. She married Solomon and he died of an unknown disease. And then she married Hal and they had more children as well. And Hal died before Francis Epps moved into the house, the grandson. Now we don't know what happened to Hannah. We don't know what happened to Cate. And we don't know what happened to most of the Hubbard family that you see on this family tree here. Some of them may have been taken to Florida with Francis Epps. Certainly some of them were sold in an 1827 sale. And Hannah, unfortunately, we do not know what happened to